Most older people don't live long after age 70 for these three reasons. Did you know that many people don't make it far past 70, not because of genetics, but because of three surprising mistakes they don't even realize they're making? If you or a loved one are in your 60s or beyond, you need to hear this, because avoiding these mistakes could add years, maybe even decades, to your life. The worst part? Most people don't even see them coming. They feel fine, until suddenly they don't. And reason number three? Even doctors often overlook it. Yet it can make all the difference in how long and how well you live. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly what to do to avoid these silent killers and extend your life starting today. Frank had always considered himself a relatively healthy guy. At 72, he was a retired high school teacher, known for his love of history and the way he could bring the past to life with his storytelling. His days were simple: morning coffee with his wife, weekend visits with his grandkids, and the occasional round of golf with old friends. Sure, he had slowed down a bit, but wasn't that just part of aging? A little stiffness in the mornings, a bit more fatigue after mowing the lawn, and the occasional forgetfulness. It all seemed normal. At least that's what he told himself. But the truth was, Frank had been ignoring the signs. At first it was just small things. Feeling winded after climbing a flight of stairs, needing an extra nap in the afternoon, and brushing off his rising blood pressure as just a number. He chalked it up to getting older. "I'm not 40 anymore," he'd joke with his wife, shrugging off her concerns. Then came the wake-up call. One morning, while getting out of bed, Frank felt an odd dizziness. He gripped the nightstand for balance, blinking hard, waiting for the room to stop spinning. A few seconds later, it passed. "Must have gotten up too fast," he muttered, shaking it off. But later that day, while out grocery shopping, it happened again. Only this time, it was worse. As he reached for a carton of milk, a wave of lightheadedness washed over him. His heart pounded, his vision blurred. The next thing he knew, he was on the floor, staring up at a small crowd of concerned strangers. The ambulance ride was a blur, filled with beeping machines and the concerned face of his wife, Mary, squeezing his hand. At the hospital, tests revealed what Frank had been avoiding for years: high blood pressure, clogged arteries, and dangerously high blood sugar levels. He wasn't just slowing down naturally, his body had been sending warning signs he had ignored. Lying in that hospital bed, Frank had a terrifying realization. If he didn't make some changes, he might not be around to see his grandchildren grow up. And the scariest part? He wasn't alone. Millions of people in their 60s and 70s make the same mistakes Frank did. They assume fatigue, aches, and forgetfulness are just part of aging, when in reality they're often warning signs of deeper health issues. Issues that, if caught and addressed early, could add years, even decades, to their lives. Frank's wake-up call was a second chance. But not everyone gets one. In the next chapter, we'll break down the three biggest mistakes people over 60 make with their health. Mistakes that can silently shave years off your life. And mistake number 3? Even doctors often overlook it. If you want to stay ahead of these risks and love your life, make sure you don't miss what's coming next. Like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the life-changing information that could help you or someone you love live longer and healthier. Reason number 1, social isolation, the silent killer. Did you know that social isolation can be as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day? It sounds shocking, but science backs it up. Studies have shown that loneliness increases the risk of heart disease, dementia, and even premature death. Yet, millions of people over 60 unknowingly fall into this trap, thinking it's just part of getting older. Frank was one of them. When Frank retired at 68, he thought he was ready for a life of relaxation. No more early alarms, no more grading papers late at night. At first he enjoyed the freedom. Long mornings sipping coffee, afternoons spent reading on the porch, but over time something changed. The phone rang less often. The invitations to gatherings became fewer. His work friends had their own routines, and younger family members were busy with their own lives. Frank still had his wife Mary, but their conversations started feeling repetitive. Without the daily social interactions he once took for granted, he found himself withdrawing more and more. At first he didn't even notice. He convinced himself he was just enjoying the peace and quiet. But soon the days felt longer, the house felt emptier, and a heaviness settled in. His motivation dropped. He stopped going on walks as often. He felt more tired, yet sleep didn't come easily. Frank was lonely, but he didn't want to admit it, and he wasn't alone. Loneliness isn't just about feeling sad, it physically affects the body. Research shows that social isolation increases the risk of heart disease and high blood pressure. Without regular social engagement, stress levels rise, putting strain on the heart. Cognitive decline and dementia are also concerns, as the brain needs stimulation, and without social interactions, mental sharpness fades faster. A weakened immune system is another risk, as loneliness increases inflammation in the body, making people more vulnerable to illnesses. Depression and anxiety are common too, as a lack of human connection can lead to a downward spiral of negative thoughts, making it even harder to reach out. For Frank, the wake-up call came one evening when he realized he hadn't spoken to anyone besides Mary in over a week. He felt stuck in a rut, sluggish and unmotivated. That's when he knew something had to change. The good news? Loneliness isn't a life sentence. Here's what Frank and anyone in his position can do to rebuild meaningful social connections, reconnect with old friends. That friend from work you haven't called in years, reach out. Chances are they'd love to hear from you. Frank made it a habit to call an old colleague once a week, and before long they were meeting for coffee again. Join a community group or club. From book clubs to walking groups, joining an activity brings instant connections. Frank discovered a local history club where he could share his passion for storytelling. And in the process, he found new friends, volunteer and give back. Helping others is one of the best ways to feel connected. Whether it's mentoring young students or assisting at a food bank, volunteering provides a sense of purpose and social interaction. Try online platforms for seniors. Technology has made it easier than ever to stay connected. Websites and apps like Meetup, Facebook groups, and even virtual hobby classes help seniors find like-minded people. Frank was skeptical at first, but after joining a forum for retired educators, he found himself engaged in lively discussions again. Make socializing a routine. It's easy to fall into isolation when there's no structure. Scheduling weekly lunches, phone calls, or group activities keeps social connections strong. Frank and Mary started a weekly game night with neighbors, something small that made a big difference. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Social isolation creeps in slowly, but recognizing it is the first step to breaking free. Have you ever felt disconnected as you've gotten older? Let us know in the comments, because sharing your story might just help someone else. And remember, this is just the beginning. While loneliness affects the mind and heart, the next reason might be silently damaging your body without you even realizing it. Stay tuned, because what comes next is something even doctors often overlook. Reason number 2. Poor nutrition and hidden deficiencies. Did you know that up to 50% of older adults are deficient in key nutrients, nutrients that keep energy levels high, immune systems strong, and aging in check? The scary part? Many people think they're eating healthy but are still missing out on essential vitamins and minerals. Frank was one of them. After his health scare, Frank thought he was doing everything right. He cut back on fast food, avoided sugary snacks, and stuck to the meals he had always eaten. Eggs and toast for breakfast, a turkey sandwich for lunch, pasta for dinner. It was simple. It felt healthy, but despite his efforts, something was off. He still felt sluggish in the afternoons. His joints ached more than they used to. His skin looked drier and small cuts took longer to heal. Even his memory felt a little foggy. Frank chalked it up to aging until his doctor ran some tests. The results were shocking. Frank was low in several key nutrients: vitamin D, omega-3s and even protein. His body wasn't getting what it needed to stay strong, and the healthy meals he had stuck with for decades weren't cutting it anymore. And he's not alone. As we age, our bodies absorb fewer nutrients, our metabolism slows and muscle loss accelerates. What worked in our 30s and 40s isn't enough in our 60s and beyond, yet many people keep eating the same way they always have without realizing the damage it's doing. Aging doesn't just happen on the outside, it happens at the cellular level. When we don't give our bodies the right nutrients, our cells can't repair themselves properly. This leads to slower healing. Small injuries take longer to recover and immune function weakens. Increased inflammation. Chronic inflammation is linked to heart disease, arthritis and even Alzheimer's. Loss of muscle mass, sarcopenia or age-related muscle loss can make daily tasks harder, increasing the risk of falls and fractures. Weaker bones. Low calcium and vitamin D contribute to osteoporosis, making bones fragile. Even if you eat 3 meals a day, you might still be missing key nutrients. Here are some of the most common deficiencies in people over 61. Vitamin D, essential for bone health, immune function and mood. Low levels increase the risk of fractures, depression and fatigue. Most people don't get enough sunlight exposure to meet their needs. 2. Omega-3. Fatty acids, found in fish and nuts. Omega-3 reduce inflammation, support brain health and protect the heart. Deficiency is linked to memory loss and increased heart disease risk. 3. Protein, crucial for maintaining muscle mass. Too little protein leads to weakness, slower recovery and increased fall risk. 4. Magnesium supports nerve function, energy levels and sleep. Low levels contribute to fatigue, muscle cramps and high blood pressure. 5. B12, vital for brain function and red blood cell production. Deficiency causes brain fog, numbness and fatigue. 6. Iron, necessary for carrying oxygen in the blood. Low levels lead to anemia, causing extreme tiredness and weakness. Without these nutrients, aging accelerates, leading to more fatigue, a weaker immune system and a higher risk of disease. The good news? Fixing hidden deficiencies is easier than you think. Here's how Frank turned things around and how you can too. 1. Prioritize whole foods over processed meals. Many seniors rely on quick, easy foods, but most processed meals lack essential nutrients. Frank swapped white bread for whole grains, canned soups for homemade stews, and sugary snacks for nuts and berries. 2. Boost protein intake. After 60, muscle loss speeds up, and without enough protein, daily activities become harder. Aim for at least 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. Best sources: eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken, fish, and lean meats, beans and lentils. Adding a high-protein snack like a handful of almonds or a protein shake can prevent muscle loss and improve energy levels. 3. Get enough vitamin D. Most older adults need a supplement to reach healthy vitamin D levels. Without it, bones weaken, immune function drops, and mood declines. Frank started taking 2,000 IU of vitamin D daily, and within weeks he felt more energetic. 4. Add omega-3s for brain and heart health. Omega-3s fight inflammation, improve brain function, and protect against heart disease. Since most people don't eat enough fatty fish, a supplement can be a smart choice. Best sources: salmon and fatty fish, walnuts and flax seeds, high-quality fish oil supplements. Eat magnesium-rich foods for energy and sleep. Magnesium helps with relaxation, muscle function and blood sugar control. Frank added more leafy greens, nuts and dark chocolate to his diet and noticed he slept better and felt less stressed. Stay hydrated. Dehydration accelerates aging. Many older adults don't drink enough water, leading to fatigue, dizziness and dry skin. Hydration is key to keeping the body running smoothly. Frank made a simple change: a glass of water with every meal and an extra bottle throughout the day. The difference? More energy, clearer skin and better digestion. Many people over 60 eat the same way they did decades ago, without realizing their bodies have different needs now. It's easy to fall into old habits, but adjusting your diet can add years to your life. If you know someone who might be missing out on key nutrients, share this with them. And here's the real kicker. Even if you fix your diet and stay socially active, there's still one major reason most seniors struggle with their health. It's the biggest mistake of all, and it's not what you think. Stay tuned, because this final mistake is the most overlooked and the most dangerous. Reason number 3, lack of purpose and mental stimulation. Did you know that retirement can be deadly if you don't have a reason to wake up every morning? Studies show that people who retire without a clear sense of purpose experience faster cognitive decline, higher rates of depression, and even shorter lifespans. The truth is, staying mentally and emotionally engaged is just as important as eating well and staying active. And Frank learned this the hard way. For over 40 years, Frank was a teacher. He woke up every morning with a mission to educate, mentor, and inspire young minds. His days were filled with structure, challenge, and a sense of accomplishment. Then came retirement. At first it felt like a well-earned vacation. He could sleep in, watch TV, and finally relax. But as the months passed, something shifted. Without students to teach or a schedule to follow, Frank felt lost. The days blended together and he found himself staying in bed later, skipping meals and watching hours of television just to pass the time. His once sharp mind started to feel dull. He forgot small things more often, his energy dropped, and worst of all, he felt useless. His physical health declined too. Studies show that seniors who lack purpose are more likely to develop chronic illnesses, experience higher stress levels, and even suffer from an increased risk of heart disease. Frank knew he needed to make a change. But how? Why purpose is the key to a longer, healthier life. Retirement should be a time of freedom, but without purpose, it can quickly turn into isolation and mental stagnation. The brain is like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. When people stop challenging themselves, their cognitive function declines. This is why some retirees develop dementia faster than their working peers. It's not just about staying busy. It's about staying engaged in a way that fuels the mind and soul. The science behind purpose and longevity. People with a strong sense of purpose live longer. Research from the Blue Zones, regions where people live the longest, shows that having a reason to wake up each day can extend your lifespan by years, even decades. Purpose keeps the brain sharp. Learning new skills, engaging in problem solving, and staying socially active reduce the risk of cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease. Emotional well-being improves. Those who feel useful and engaged experience less anxiety, depression, and stress, which are major contributors to chronic disease. Frank knew he couldn't go back to teaching full-time, but he also knew he needed to be needed. So he took small steps to re-engage with life. Step 1, finding a new passion. Frank had always loved storytelling, so he started volunteering at his local library, reading to kids once a week. Seeing their excitement reminded him of the joy he felt in the classroom. Not only that, but volunteering has been shown to reduce stress, increase happiness, and even boost immune function. Step 2. Staying mentally engaged. Instead of spending hours in front of the TV, Frank began doing crossword puzzles, reading books on history, and even taking an online course in photography. Studies show that learning something new strengthens neural connections, preventing cognitive decline. Step 3. Social and community involvement. Frank reconnected with old colleagues and even joined a mentorship program for young teachers. Sharing his wisdom gave him a sense of fulfillment, and his mental sharpness improved drastically. Step 4. Exploring part-time work and hobbies. Frank also found joy in working part-time at a museum, something he had always been passionate about but never pursued. This gave him structure and a reason to get up every morning. If you've ever felt like your days are missing meaning, it's not too late to turn things around. Here are proven ways to stay mentally engaged and rediscover your purpose. Teach, mentor, or share your knowledge. Volunteer at schools, community centres, or libraries. Become a mentor for young professionals. Offer to teach a class at a local senior centre or even online. Learn something new. Take an online course on something you've always wanted to explore. Join a book club or attend lectures. Try learning a new language or musical instrument. Stay socially active. Join community groups, hobby clubs, or religious organisations. Reconnect with old friends and make time for social outings. Host gatherings or participate in group activities. Find a hobby that challenges your mind. Try puzzles, chess or board games. Start gardening, painting or writing. Build something, woodworking, model trains or DIY projects. Consider part-time work or volunteering. Work part-time in a field you enjoy. Volunteer for a cause you're passionate about. Help with charity work or assist in community projects. What's something new you've learned recently? Finding purpose doesn't mean going back to a full-time job. It means finding something that excites you, engages your mind, and makes you feel valuable. So here's a question for you. What's something new you've learned recently? Drop it in the comments. Whether it's a new skill, an interesting fact, or a hobby you've picked up, we'd love to hear about it. Frank's journey wasn't instant. It took effort, small changes, and a mindset shift. But after months of engaging with life again, he felt more energetic, sharper, and genuinely happier. He was living again, not just existing. And the best part, it's never too late to do the same. If you think it's too late to turn things around, just wait until you hear Frank's transformation story. Frank's journey wasn't about luck. It was about small, intentional changes that added up to a complete transformation. He reconnected with old friends, making social interaction a priority again. Instead of spending days alone, he joined a local community group, started mentoring young teachers, and even rekindled old friendships. He revamped his diet, replacing nutrient-poor meals with whole foods, healthy fats, and enough protein to fuel his body. Within weeks, he had more energy, better digestion, and a sharper mind. Most importantly, he found purpose again, volunteering, learning new skills, and embracing life with renewed excitement. The result? Frank felt like a new person. His energy returned, his mind felt clearer, and for the first time in years, he woke up every morning with enthusiasm for the day ahead. Aging isn't the problem. Giving up is. Yes, getting older brings challenges, but it also brings opportunity. Opportunity to grow, to adapt, and to rewrite the future. Frank's story proves that it's never too late to change. One decision, one habit, and one step in the right direction can make all the difference. And if he can do it, so can you. If this video opened your eyes, don't keep this information to yourself. Hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this.